All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Commissioner Trainer, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda. Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Dennard. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comments. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning? On any topic that isn't on the agenda? Online, on the phone? Nobody in the room? We'll move on. Next up, Darren Beckius, Executive Director of Homes Are Possible, Inc. Discuss tipping fees at the landfill. Good morning. Come on up.
Come on. Thanks for having me back. So, again, just to kind of go through what I was starting a conversation with last week is, basically, it kind of started with some conversations with the city and what they were looking to do with some of these pretty poor condition properties throughout the city, and learned about kind of their agreement with the county to resolve some of those, and I saw that as maybe an opportunity for Happy to get involved. We've been doing this for many years already on our own. I think I mentioned we're up to 80 infill lots that we've done over the last 20 plus years. And so, like with anything, when it goes well, then it goes really well. And so I got to the point where I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to come and ask for the county's help, partnership. And so what I'm looking at requesting is having the county waive the tipping fees at the landfill for these properties that we remove. A couple of things that we've found this summer working through this is it definitely speeds up the process as far as when a homeowner or relatives work with me versus the city having to go through their procedures. And so we're able to typically acquire them in a relatively short amount of time, assuming that everyone agrees to the terms. I am able to offer sometimes, not all the time, but I want to make that clear, money for, I can actually purchase these lots. I think I mentioned last time, the 6 that I have right now, one of them was $13,000 that I was able to pay for it. And the reason being is that there's a detached garage, and so I'm able to save that, number one, and it's got value. So not only does that homeowner able to receive compensation, I'm also able to save that from having to go to the landfill. We are a 501c3, that was kind of brought up last time, and we really focus all of our homes that we sell. We follow South Dakota Housing's income guidelines. So we focus on the low to medium income households. The median income in Brown County for a family of 4 is $84,000. So that's kind of where our focus is. That's where we try and build. Most of the homes that we've done on these in the past have been governor's houses. We've struggled getting them over the last couple of years because that's become a really popular program. So over this last summer, I've stick built some. Which has gone well. I'm looking to kind of do some governor's houses, some stick builds. I was able to get a local contractor that is able to stick build for a price point that I can have the buyers that can afford in their income category, if that makes sense. I'm really conscious on the price. As costs have increased substantially over the last couple of years, the affordability piece becomes more difficult. So I'm always conscious of where we can save money if possible. And for this, I would estimate that, depending on the house size and how much stuff is inside of them, sometimes they can be pretty full. And so I would estimate $2,000 to $3,000 per house of savings, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're in my world, that turns out to be, 500 plus more buyers can afford that house now. So it really, it goes a long ways. So, I guess that's kind of what I'm here for, and open to any questions or anything. I think it's pretty simple. Try and keep it as simple as I can, so.
Remind Drew.
Remind us how many houses you're planning on doing.
Currently, I have, let's see here. I have 5 that I own. I
Okay.
did get a call last week on a 6th house, that the owner is deceased, so the family's working through their attorney to get, one of the family members named as personal representative. That should take about a month or 2.
Okay.
And then they're ready to turn it over as soon as that process is done. So I'm looking at 6 currently. And that was kind of the question too, that I don't have an answer of, I have 6 right now, and, this isn't gonna go away, so is there a process that we could implement that going forward I could have approval, or is it where I get 4 or 5 at a time and then come and request? Is it a one-time thing? That piece is kind of where I was open to suggestions or ideas on how we could do this.
How many per year do you usually have, roughly?
Probably 4 or 5. I think there's a little bit of a pent-up now that the city's able to go through their process now. I think there's, some pent-up things there. But typically 4 or 5. I get probably a phone call a month on properties, but it just, we did have one this summer where the sister called and they were in town visiting, and they went to their sister's house and realized it was a pretty poor condition, and so I went and looked at it, and it wasn't to the point where it needed to be completely demoed. So I referred her to a I said you should get a realtor and list it, and they did, and it worked very well because they were expecting it was going to get 0, and I think it sold for $55,000-$60,000. So there are those ones that I get where it doesn't make sense to.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
It's kind of thing where there might be a little bit of a bubble because there's, some of that inventory that's there that hasn't been addressed.
Correct.
Or it's, just been sat on, or it takes so long to go through a tax, receivership process and things like that.
Yeah, if it does.
But once you start addressing that, then you begin to diminish that.
Correct.
That inventory.
Yeah. And this is, so a program we have is a rehab program where we try and address these properties before it gets to the point where it needs to be torn down. Those are owner-occupied houses. So we kind of have, we're trying to stop them before they get to this point too. So it's a double-edged sword that we're trying to approach the problem with.
But there are certain properties, you just come to the realizations like this is better.
Yeah, we're limited on the grant money that we get. It's $20,000 a house is what we can spend. Sometimes we get $25,000. If you're at the point where the foundation's bad, you're already at probably $40,000, and then you're looking at a new roof, window siding. It's going to cost, just more than the grant money we get for the year to fix up the one house. So.
Because you understand we're pretty protective about, opening the gates to do this kind
Absolutely.
of thing.
Yep.
And being respectful of that, but also the flip side of that, without your organization and the things that they've done historically, over the past several decades, for the community, providing housing and the rest of those kinds of things. And then with this, particular expanding a little bit, seeing what the city's done, and knowing that it takes, several years to go through that process, which is not healthy for those neighborhoods where that's happening. It accelerates the process, makes it simpler, because there are certain things that you can do as a private 501c3 that city and county can't do. With specific processes, so it accelerates, once that realization is there, to say, okay, this property needs to be taken down and rehabbed, and hopefully, put another family into there, which is good for the community, good for everybody. And so.
Yeah, we certainly try and do whatever we can to avoid having to tear the house down. That's not what the mission is of this by any means, because if we can rehab a house, that's way more efficient on the use of funds than demoing and building new or bringing a governor's house. So we really try and focus on that piece. But like I said, there's unfortunately circumstances where a lot of times the family doesn't realize how bad it is until it's too far gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the benefit to the county, obviously, is if you've got a house that is assessed, you know, at a pretty low amount because of its condition and age and so on, and then if that house has to go away, and then you've got an empty lot, so it accelerates the whole process where now we can get a newer, higher assessed home on that lot, and we can start collecting the tax, and that's the benefit to the county. We get it back on the tax rolls at a higher amount sooner.
Yep, absolutely. The last governor's house I did was sold for $200,000. The stick-built floor plan I have is probably going to be in that $250,000 range.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I'd like to just probably put a little bit of a sunset on it. I'm in favor of this, but just so we can kind of revisit it in 3 years, something like that. Just check up, make sure we're doing our due diligence there. What Dwayne just said makes a lot of sense. We're getting a higher house in the tax roll, but it is gonna be kind of a significant overall cost that we're giving by that. So I think we should just maybe review it every so often, I guess, instead of...
Would it be reasonable to say up to 5 properties for 3 years?
Yeah, and I don't even know if we put a cap on the property amount, but just whatever, just so that we're doing a little bit of...
And not to say that it goes away, but just to
Yeah.
see how the
Yeah,
program...
and I'm not
Yeah.
saying we'd end it, I'm just to revisit it.
And it all depends on how big some of these properties are too. I mean, obviously in the landfill
Right.
world, the tipping fee is our bread and butter.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we
Yep.
survive. So,
Would it be better to put a ton limit on it, or?
well, I think that's hard to do too, but, I mean, we just had a small house torn down here a couple weeks ago, it was $1,500. You know, tons, $42 a ton, so,
Like one of the lots I have is a 38-foot wide lot, so you can imagine it's a pretty small house on that lot. And then
yeah, I looked at the houses.
I've got another one that's on 8th Avenue, and it's a big 2-story.
Right, I looked at that one too.
We tried to get inside, we couldn't even get the door open, so it's full of stuff. And
So
that's
obviously,
really
you're
where
gonna have some major tons coming out of that one
Yeah.
property. You know, like I said, we got a $6.1 million budget next year, you know, to pay for a new self-construction,
Yeah.
and that's where those tipping fees
Cover
pay for that.
Right.
You fill it up quicker with
Mhm.
free material, you know, it takes away from our enterprise fund
Yep.
too, so it's not just a win-win
Yeah.
for one individual. It's taking away from
Yeah.
somebody else
It's
too.
in kind, but we gotta figure that out.
It's in kind, but it's not all in, it's...
Right, but we also do the spring cleanup and
Right.
and other kinds of things that, you
Yep.
know, is not necessarily customary for a lot of places, but it's just the right thing for the community
Right,
and part
and
of...
precedent set, you know, you're
Yeah.
moving forward, so...
Is that a motion?
Go ahead, Ken.
I just wanted to share just a couple comments. Thank you, Commissioners and Chairman. I just wanted it to be clear that, you know, the city has its own agreement worked out. We're supportive of Happy Homes and all they do with us, but we're not here supporting this cause. This is their ask and theirs to go forward with. We've had a great relationship working with the County Commission and Mike on some of our houses that we demolish and they come back to the county for taxes. So we don't want this to disrupt that or cause any hard feelings there. We're supportive of Darren and all he does. So just wanted to clear the air there that this is his ask.
Okay. Appreciate that, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, we appreciate the agreement that we have with the city on that
Yep.
program, and definitely want to continue that as well.
It's done wonders.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
I'll motion that we waive the tipping fees for 3 years
For Happy Homes?
for Happy,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
For home demolition.
For home demolition.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dinger, a second by Weiss. Is there any further discussion?
Does this include foundations, or are you gonna take that and recycle it?
This
I don't want it.
Yeah, no, this is just,
Just the upper structure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Rub it, the upper.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
want
General.
concrete and dirt and everything else that's gonna
There's a market for that.
cause us problems, so...
Okay. Everybody's understanding what we're doing? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your
We'll
patience.
revisit it again in 3 years.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Still doing good things.
All right, next up, approve and authorize chairman to sign drawdown request for the landfill compactor. It's in the packet, everybody have a chance to review it.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Dennert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, Trish Kendall, Dakota Prairie Museum Director. Good morning.
Morning, hello.
Good morning.
Well, I'm pretty sure when Sue retired, she said, oh, you have to be in front of the commission once or twice a year. But more like once or twice a month, so.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, it's true, but how can you miss me if I never go away? So, all right, so it has been recommended to us that when we receive the exhibit component for the new Bunch Rock Gallery, that we close to the public for 2 weeks. And that's a significant amount of time. So I just wanted to put that in front of everyone. Thank you. As you can see, the exhibits are pretty big. The animals arrive November 19th. And Split Rock Studios, I know, pretty exciting.
So be ready.
Is recommending that we be closed to the public from November 10th to November 22nd. And I just wanted to put that in front of you because as a county department, we'll still function and we'll still be there. Believe me, we'll be there. We never work as hard as when your doors are closed to the public, that's for sure. If we do need to get people into the building, because honestly that's right before we open Christmas Tree Lane, we'll make sure that we bring them in safely through our back door if it's possible. We have other entries and exits that we can get people into the building, but it will be restricted to the people that are scheduled to come to our building. They're going to take over the whole first floor. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it once it's up and going. That'll be
Yeah.
neat.
So we're expecting the first week of December for the Bunch Rock Gallery to be open. We'll have a big hullabaloo for that too.
Well, it's not unheard of for such a major redo, and it's just interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Pierre and I had a few minutes, so I stopped by the museum there in Pierre,
Yeah.
and it's closed for pretty much most of a year.
Maybe longer, yeah.
For a whole remodel and stuff. The archive area is still open to the public and by appointment and stuff, but the museum itself is closed for a significant amount of time for overhaul, so.
True. And the South Dakota, or the National Music Museum on the campus of USD in Vermillion, they closed for 2 years for their remodel. But that was a major remodel. This is just 2 weeks, right before Thanksgiving, but we'll get it. But we'll get back open in time for that week.
Makes sense to me.
So it's a recommendation to us, and I wanted to put it in front of you and just to at least get your approval or acknowledgement or blessing or just so you know.
It's public, go do it.
Okay.
As long as it's not a year.
It's not a year. Oh my gosh, no.
As long as other departments don't start doing it.
Yeah.
Well, if they receive 25 mounted specimens, I'm sure. And well, thank you for that. And then the only other thing is too is that you might be surprised to learn, but I'm on the League of Women Voters, and they've invited all of you to the luncheon that's on the 23rd. So I just want to let you know that they were hoping that you would come. However many of you would be able to come. And they also want a number for lunch. And I said, well, I'll see them on Tuesday. I'll ask.
What day is it?
I will not be there. I leave on the 22nd, don't get back till the 26th.
Okay.
It's a Thursday.
Thursday the 23rd. Yep.
So I will be gone.
I got it down.
It's at 11:30.
Yeah.
And then they'll do a little presentation, but also they want to hear from county department heads. What are your challenges? What are your successes? That's what they want to hear. So to see how the league can help disseminate information and the like. So
Our biggest challenge is departments that wanna shut down for 2 weeks.
Yes, I know, and you really should put your foot down on that.
They're just gonna be closed to the public.
So, like, believe me, we will be there. Actually, that's an excellent opportunity for us then to do the deep cleaning, the repair work, the, moving things around that we can, that sometimes we don't wanna do in the public space. So we will take advantage of it as well.
Well, you don't find any septic issues.
Oh my gosh, no. And I would just like to say thank you again for fixing my sewer. I will always be grateful for that, so.
You can always suggest that they schedule a tour at the landfill for those 2 weeks.
That's true.
Winter, spring, it doesn't matter. It's all free.
If
it didn't make any
Roll-
museum,
roll
it's probably
down
out
the hill,
there.
they build a snowball.
Yeah. That's actually a very good idea. So
Not
expect some
promoted.
calls. So, all right, well, thank you for that, and
All
right.
thanks for the
Really
support.
quick question coming up, because I know you're gonna be doing the Chamber Connection coming up on Thursday.
Yes.
And, the topic about the exhibit among other things, but, what else are you, I understand you're gonna be doing more thorough update of the museum coming up on Thursday, if I understand that?
Oh, yeah, just what's happening. It's called What's Happening, or What the Heck is Happening at the museum. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. So tune in.
Kaoli Library at 8:45 in the morning, if anyone wants to hear or speak about it.
I'm ready to go.
All right,
All right.
very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Rachel Kipley, Fairgrounds Parks Manager. Good morning.
Morning, you guys. How's it going?
Good.
4 items before you. The first one is revisions to the bylaws. There was a copy in the folder. I can walk you through them if you prefer, or maybe you just already have the chance to look.
If you wanna walk us through it, that'd be great.
Okay, there were 3 that were recommended from the Fair Board. The first is in adding the language, in the event that vacancies on the Fair Board cannot be filled by January, the Fair Board will elect to ask members that have already completed their second 3-year term to return to the Fair Board for the remainder of the 1 additional year. So currently, you can serve 2 3-year terms for a total of 6. We've kind of gotten in the habit of not doing a great job of recruiting new and just asking those who've already done 6 to come back, and it's really kind of kicking us now because we don't have those alumni to come back just part-time on the work days. There's not a lot of people, probably 2 since I've been manager, that have turned off. We've been a little bit more strict on that this year, so trying to bring in fresh blood and have people, if you want to come back, great, take a year off, come back for the full 6. It's not that you can't. So this would help us as we try to bring in new people on the Fair Board. So that's the first one. Second one.
Quick question though.
Yep.
Would that allow, so like you finish your 6-year term, you come back for a year because it's vacant. Can you keep going then if there's still a vacancy, or is that just one?
One year extra.
Then you
can
have
serve
to.
a 7th, then you've got to take a year off.
Okay.
And
That's
we
what I
have
thought. I
had,
just
yeah,
wanted to
and we
make
have
sure.
had people that do that, and they come back and they have new, fresh perspectives. They've taken a little bit of time away, and they kind of see how things are working out. I think it's a win-win. So that's the first one. The second one is spouses may not serve on the Fair Board simultaneously. We've had issues in the past where there's just a little bit of conflict as far as they're on the same committees. Sometimes they overrule the others on the committees being on the same, and then also with some of the benefits that you get being on the Fair Board, you get a comped camping space. Well, do these folks get 2 comped camping spaces even though they're married? Do they get double the tickets? Do they get double? So there was a belief of the Fair Board that they can sure help, and most do already help their spouse if they're on the Fair Board, but having both seated at the same time, there's just a lot of questions that arise, and so the Fair Board would like to see that. If you both want to be on the Fair Board, one serve, then go off, the other one come on, absolutely fine. Third change was on the last page, if you have it in front of you. We have a section on the executive committee, and there was a lot of talk about whether or not, while serving on the Fair Board, spouses and family members of Fair Office staff cannot be prohibited from serving on the executive committee if elected. So I'll use myself for an example. I'm a staff member. My husband Jeff is on his final year of the Fair Board. He's on his 6th year. He couldn't in the past, I'm not saying he couldn't, it was just never written. Can he be on exec? Can he elevate to a leadership position? We just never did it because, just to be safe. The Fair Board now firmly believes some of the best leadership on the Fair Board is being overlooked because they may be dating, maybe related to, the staff in the office. Now with Misty Dosh on there, her husband Aaron is on the board, with Mackenzie, Trevor is on the board. Those are really great leadership positions that could be essentially used. And one of the big things is, well, what if there is a conflict and it's got to go to the exec committee and it deals with that person? In our conflict of interest policy, which every Fair Board member signs, we would just know, okay, that person is excluded. So if there's an issue, let's say with Misty, Aaron's on the exec board, which he's not, Aaron would not be included in that conversation. So there's ways around it. When we go to other conventions, a lot of times, Fair is all about family. There's a lot of family connections. We meet other boards and staff who, you know, my husband, my wife's involved, because it really is. I mean, we get out there, Junior Fair Board, my kids are working right alongside my husband. If you start taking some of that away, you're going to take away some of the people that want to serve on the board. So that was kind of what the Fair Board had decided on those three. And then there was some conversation about adding additional language, which we can get into later when we talk about the board member recommendations. But those were the three that they wanted to bring before you, and they passed them unanimously. Questions?
I have one problem, and I'm just gonna voice it. I feel like with the one, that one right there, read that. The spouses can't serve at the same time.
Yep.
And then the Fair staff and spouses serving or significant others, I feel like that is kind of a gray line there. And so I don't like, again, I think you're right, we have great leadership on, and that's gonna affect, but if we're gonna prohibit spouses from serving at the same time, I think we need to be consistent with the other side of it as well.
And I think it's the role. The role of the staff, we answer to you guys. The role of the Fair Board, not only do they in a linear way answer to you, but they answer to the exec board. And I think that's what the Fair Board saw. They're not gonna automatically appoint anybody to the exec board. It's still an election. If you feel like certain people on the board might not be able to adhere to being conflict-free, don't elect them.
Sure.
Is what the conversation, because the same thing came up at the board, and that's kind of what they said.
I guess I just think that there's situations that have come up in the past and that probably will continue to come up where we have it's just messy. Like, it's a nepotism issue. We have, like, our people that are running our fair are, you know, the people on the Fair Board are supposed to be answering to the people, and vice versa.
Sure.
And it gets messy when we have so much intermingling of, you know, you can't tell your significant, you're not going to tell your significant other that, you know, whatever. There's just no disciplinary accountability.
Sure, which is why they would be excluded from it. But I get what you're saying. And the biggest issues I've seen is because it hasn't been clarified. People are guessing what's in here. So one way or another, we need to clarify.
Well, and I agree, one way or another, but it's just, I think you still have a muddy water there when you're Fair staff versus Fair Board versus executive board, in my opinion. And you're right, on paper, it's probably cut and dry, but when you get down to the nuts and bolts of things, I think it's just leaving a door for issues, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
Other thoughts, questions, concerns? If not, if anyone's ready to make a motion to approve the bylaw changes.
I'll make a motion to postpone the approval until after the next Fair Board meeting, is what I would like to do.
Okay, we have a motion by Dinger. Is there a second? Appears to have died for a lack of a second. Entertain a motion to approve the recommended bylaw changes, if that's the wishes of the commission.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Gage. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Denner. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And I will share those concerns.
That's fine.
Second thing I had was Fair Board member recommendations, should also be in your packet. 25 members constitutes the full Fair Board. The unanimous vote of the Fair Board recommends appointment of 5 new members: Peyton Sarda, Kevin Heinrich, Nicole Hansen, Samantha Hockenbrock, and Jeff Swingler for their first 3-year terms, and reappointment of Connell Burgard, Brody Mueller, and Rhonda Redslaw for their second 3-year terms. If those 8 appointments are made, we will currently have 22 members. And I think there was attached to it all their applications, so you kind of saw some of the strengths that some of these new Fair Board members will bring. One of the things that we did have significant conversation, and Dwayne and Drew will tell you, was, does a Brown County Fair Board member have to be from Brown County? For a while, there was an assumption that yes, but within the bylaws, it doesn't say specifically. So there are folks that, one situation where a fairly new, but has served through one fair member is moving 2 miles outside the county line. And another one that's on here is not, their resident is not in Brown County. The Fair Board had a good discussion about what does that mean, should we be allowing that? And their thought was, since it's not in the bylaws, they interpret it in such a way that as long as, the way that it's worded is, I believe, as long as they have an interest, I'll read it here. Membership of the Fair Board requires a sincere commitment to the individual's time and effort. The Fair Board shall consist of 25 voting members. Members shall be elected without respect to sex, age, race, profession, or political affiliation, and shall represent a cross-section of public interest in the county. So a lot of times these folks aren't residing here, but they work here, they own land here, they pay tax here, they shop here. So the Fair Board was, well, let's keep that pool wider. It doesn't mean we have to recommend them, and it doesn't mean you guys have to appoint them. But you've seen the applications in the packet, and all 5 of the new and the 3 returners are unanimously recommended by the Fair Board.
One of the other, go ahead. One of the other recommended bylaw changes, it dealt with removal from the Fair Board, potential reasons for removal. And one of them, the specific one that was removed, I suggested that we address the membership part of it before they act on that bylaw change. And it dealt directly with moving from Brown County during your term to an adjoining county. And I feel, and this is just a suggestion for the Fair Board, that you may want to consider under the membership part specifically saying that to be eligible to be on the Brown County Fair Board, you have to reside in Brown County or an adjacent county. Because, you look at Aberdeen and Brown County in particular, we've got a lot of people that live in Webster, or live in Redfield, or live in Ipswich, or live in Britain, and drive into Aberdeen every day. They work here, they shop here, they doctor here. In one of the situations, the one that lives in Britain, for example, their kids are members of a 4-H club in Brown County. So I, for one, would have no problem with adding that language, that in order to be eligible, that they have to reside in Brown County or an adjacent county, because we cover that big of a trade area, and we draw from those areas during the fair. But that, I think, should specifically be addressed in the membership section before it is added to the removal part, to make it perfectly clear. And that was just my suggestion that night. Go ahead.
So I agree with that. And then in addition to that, I wonder, and I'm kind of thinking out loud here, if we should have a limit to that. So like, board members may be from an adjacent county, however, there may not be more than, fill in the number, I would throw out 4 or 5 as a number, 20 or 25% of the board, 4 or 5. Just because I think these people would bring a lot of good. Like, okay, you have an existing Fair Board member who moves 2 miles out of the county, or you have one that lives in an adjacent county and has kids in Brown County 4-H. Those are both very legitimate excuses as to why you would allow it. But also, I think we want to have some safeguards that you're not getting a big number, 10 or 12 or something like that, which seems unlikely. But I don't see any harm in putting some kind of a safeguard in terms of a maximum number at any time. And then also maybe just kind of underlining, the involvement, that it needs to be a requirement too, like, you know, having kids in Brown County 4-H, I think is a very good reason to want to be in the fair board, so.
Sure.
So, that's kind of what I would throw out would be a maximum number.
Got it.
And those are just suggestions going
Sure,
forward
yep.
for the fair board to consider.
And we started talk of the next round, so bylaws is one of those everybody really looks forward to when it's on the end.
Unfortunately, I have to review
So
them.
we've got a couple others, yeah. So we'll handle them all as a group probably
Sure.
next year, so, but, yeah,
Nothing more
thank you.
exciting than bylaws.
Yeah.
I'll, make a motion to approve the new members.
Second.
We have a motion by Dinger, second by Weiss to approve the new members, to the fair board. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
So that'll leave us 3 short, which is never a bad thing. I mean, if we run into somebody who's a perfect fit, or if you guys know somebody, we're still looking for fair board members, so. The third thing on the agenda is the carnival contract addendum. We've had a great relationship with Todd Armstrong, and they're referred to as AMP now. That's Amusement Midway Providers. It used to be Todd Armstrong Shows, so nothing's changed as far as their address or anything like that. It's just a change in the name of the entity. And you'll have a signed contract before you. I did get it over the weekend so that we can have it fully executed, and I'll send that back to them. Basically, they have the option to go ahead and do a 3-year. If we're happy and they're happy, this would be our 3rd year in this contract, and then we'll negotiate new terms the following year if we're able to. The only change we're looking at making is, and they were fine with it, Fair Board would like to go on that week-long mega pass from $70 to $90. They're still getting the 6 full days of rides. So, any questions on that?
I believe you stated at fair board last week that, when you go to your regional meetings, that's one of the biggest challenges that fairs are facing is finding carnival companies.
Yes, it is not easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those numbers are dwindling, so.
Yeah, and we did get a new record high in our recap for Carnival. So I don't, the structure of what we get paid is we get 30% of the first 150,000, 35% of the next 150 to 300,000, and 40% of the total revenue of everything over that. So this last year, it resulted in Carnival revenue of, $173,864, which is the highest we've ever had. Last year, the year before, it was 165. Before that, it's 159. So we sold more mega passes than we have ever. I think it was like 2,600. So we had to actually buy more wristbands because we sold so many. So I think it's because we didn't keep up with the price of the daily going up. They're due for an update on the weekly.
They provide a big variety of opportunities for people to participate in activities there, so you need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Gage to approve the carnival contract addendum. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And the final thing I had on there is the approve and authorize advertising RFP for the operation of the grandstand concessions. Had a really great recap with Mike Herman on things we want to do going forward. Appreciate Lynn for putting together the front page of that, and then in there with it is the details. Biggest change, we might do RTDs under there if you guys are okay with it. People want the carb list, they want some of those crack and give with the, I think we've proven that we can do things responsibly, the way that we have it with our security, and Mike Herman had went to his board and they were open to it. Obviously, we'll never be mixing under the grandstand, nobody has time for that, but some of these pre-mixed cans, just cracking and giving, their board is up for it, we might be up for it. I told them right off the bat it would have to be a higher percentage that we get, because the liquor piece, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but one of the biggest things with that is trying to make a little money to improve that grandstand and someday replace it. And I think he agrees with that vision and wants to help us, so I don't know if he's here or not, but that's the one thing you'll see on the bottom of the first page is bidder will pay a minimum of $85 per keg of beer that is sold. They'll pay a minimum of $20 for every case of malt beverage that's sold, and a minimum of $40 for every case of RTD beverage sold. There are some things in the work with Porter and Ellwine as far as what that setup's going to look like, and some changing and some different things. So I'll be coming to you with more information when they have it to me, but I think if you guys are up for it, we'll advertise that as is and make it an option.
Gotta keep up with what the people are wanting, yeah.
Move.
We have a motion by Weiss. Second by Gage, to authorize the RFP, approve and authorize advertising the RFP for operation of the grandstand concessions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'd just like to say I'm happy to see us inching a little bit closer to putting together a plan to replace those grandstands at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully our fair building, grandstand, right? Other than that, today we start putting everything into storage, so the guys are out there working on that. We sold out a large camper, small camper, and pontoon spots. There is still a few spots for, like small fishing boats and vehicles, so, we'll get those in this week. And then we did find out this weekend that the Dakota Bank Stampede Rodeo was nominated, or had a nomination for, medium rodeo of the year, medium size, so.
Nice.
They'll narrow that down to top 5 that were nominated. We're not in the top 5 yet, but yeah, kinda neat to get that recognition.
Very
You
good.
guys have any questions for me? Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Sounds good.
Yep. All right, next up, Chris Heeman, Weed and Pest Supervisor. Approve Weed and Pest Board Member recommendation. Chris is here, all right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
See, I think I typed up a letter, I didn't bring it with me, I just got back from the dentist, and all went well, so.
Can we see it?
Yeah, I only cried once, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I asked around, Stratford and, that whole area, trying to find somebody, who's, retired and basically has Tuesdays in the middle of the day to come to town for a meeting is tough to find, but I did find, Landon, Ellingson, was willing to do it. He's, I wanna say 21, 22, younger. He's been working ever since I knew him. First time I met him was, he was, 8 years old, I think. His dad was on the fire department as secretary treasurer, and he was always there making pizzas, mowing the front lawn and everything, taking care of that, and he works with the play, and he said, yeah, he'd be willing to jump on and help out. He likes volunteering and definitely a hard worker, so I definitely recommend him.
And he farms right there with the family, doesn't he?
Yeah, yep.
Cool.
Move.
Yeah, he's
Second.
pretty much running it, so.
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss, second by Denner, to approve the Weed and Pest Board Member recommendation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
You bet.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Next up, approve and authorize chairman to sign the Fairgrounds annexation agreement with the city of Aberdeen. This has been an ongoing topic for the last few weeks, and again, we want to thank the city and the leadership of the city to bring that forward and continue it moving towards fruition. We think it's a step in the right direction. The dollars will go to the Fairground Improvement Fund and be put towards hopefully that new grandstand someday.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Weiss. Second.
So the motion, they're still working on their ordinance.
Okay.
So the motion needs to be when the ordinance is approved and when it takes effect. Then we'll approve the signing of this agreement.
Okay,
And that's not going to happen until, if everything goes to plan, November 13th. Their ordinance should go into effect. So essentially, the agreement is if they change their ordinance, then it opens it up so we can enter into this agreement.
So you recommend we postpone this, or we do it contingent on?
You can approve it and just say,
Contingent on?
yeah, and then the effective date of the agreement will be whenever the ordinance goes into effect.
Okay. You got what you need for Lynn to articulate that?
I had it written down.
Or do you want to wait?
So it would be approve the ordinance, authorize its signing, effective the date the ordinance goes into effect. So we won't sign it until the 13th.
of November.
Correct.
But we've approved it contingent on that.
Yep.
So it'd be November 18th for us.
Yep.
That's what you intended your
Well-
motion to be, right?
I intended to second that, I know that.
So, approve the signing effective the date that the city's ordinance changes.
Okay.
So you can sign it when they're done with their action.
Yeah, and then that way we can have our petition in front of them in November, because the whole thing is we're shooting for prior to January 1.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a scheduling thing.
Chicken and egg kind of
Yeah.
thing, so.
Yeah,
So-
so then we'll have to get our petition ready for them by the 17th of November. So that's
So this
why-
will allow that to happen?
Yeah.
So, okay, so approve to sign it contingent on their approval of,
Yep,
Their
with the
ordinance
ordinance
change.
going into effect, yep.
okay. Does that work?
Got that, man? Okay.
She's writing.
All right.
Thank
We have a
you.
motion by Weiss, second by Dinger. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
This is
Motion
your
carries.
chance, the cake.
Oh.
Is the cake worth the bait?
I don't wanna steal
You don't,
Robert's
you don't wanna
line.
wait, you don't wanna waste it on this one?
You don't wanna use it on
No.
him?
What's that one similar to?
All right.
Come on, nepotism.
Next up, first reading of ordinance number 311, a rezone for David Seek.
Ordinance 311, an ordinance amending Title IV, second revision, Brown County ordinances as amended, to rezone certain described property filed by petitioner David C. to go from agricultural preservation district to mini ag district.
All right, this is first reading. Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 311? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve first reading.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, approve and authorize chairman to sign lease option renewal addendum for the youth camp Hayland. It was in the packet.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, adopt resolution number 2025-49, which changes the precinct boundaries in Brown County. The resolution was approved last, or the drafting of the resolution was approved last week. We have the resolution in our packet this week. Does anyone wish to speak to the resolution?
Yep. Hi, I'm Rich Oldman, Chairman of Brown County Republicans, Region Director for the SDGOP. I understand why, after talking with everybody, why this is coming up and whatnot. And it sounds like there is, legitimate reasons on why you're doing it. Obviously, I don't have any direction from my board yet to tell me to be for or against this. Normally, then I'm just going to say I'm going to be against it for the purpose of that. But I certainly understand why you're doing this, and if there's any way that we can ever revisit it to create some, I would say, more equal representation in some of them later on, like turning the 4 precincts in Aberdeen into 8, so that way one person isn't representing 8,000 people, or, in those types of round numbers, what the exact numbers are for those city council districts that we're turning that into. I do have a couple questions. When will these be updated with the Secretary of State? And when will we be able to, I guess, see any of those types of lists and maps, and how quickly can we can I see some of what the actual new map is? And is this for the change to the entire county, or is there?
Yeah, it's gonna basically, we went from 11 in Aberdeen down to 4.
Yeah. Go from
And
here to
then
here.
we're gonna, so then we would renumber the other ones throughout the county.
Renumber the other ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else changing outside in the county?
No.
No?
Not outside the city boundaries.
Nothing else, okay, nothing outside the Aberdeen city limit?
I'll check with them on the map on that, but
I'm okay either way on the growth thing. I mean, whatever you think is best, I don't care.
yeah, I think that's,
Growth, what are you?
I'll have to double check it on the map, he might have missed that, so.
You said
There's something in the map that just had Groton, the city limits of Groton precincted separately from the area outside of Groton. And I'm okay either way with Groton, whatever we,
Need to look and see what that is.
whatever we think is best. Like, I have no.
Our intent was not to change anything else except within city limits, is that
Right.
right?
Okay. And then I did talk to Aaron Lorenzen, who is the chairman of Falk. He's also the school board there. He wanted to help his auditor out by moving their school board elections to the general election. Granted, they only have one school district in their area as well that they have to contend with, but I don't know if you guys want to start reaching out to any of the school boards or have reached out already to try to help alleviate some of the stress that I know it's going to put on your office.
Actually, I was in here last week, we had a joint meeting with the municipalities and school boards, and one of the issues with the school board switching to November is their terms go from July 1st to June 30th. So their concern is if they have their election in November, if you have an incumbent that loses, that individual's gonna be on that board for the next 8 months, and they feel that they're not gonna be as strong showing up and supporting like they should, knowing that they're not gonna be continuing. So they're not sure that they will be switching.
And then he also brought up on the other half of it was that that's when they start their fiscal planning as well. So then the new person is taking over for the new fiscal plan. So I know there's a little bit of back and forth there, and there's certainly some.
Yep, and with municipalities, I know like here with the city of Aberdeen, they would have to change their charter, and they are not willing to do that. So that's a lot of the cities are that way as well. So we're gonna have a lot on the primary ballot. The primary elections.
Lots of
And we are
moving
not the
pieces.
only county that is reducing the number of precincts, I will let you know that. A lot of other auditors are doing the same thing, so, because of this.
Any idea how many?
Beetle County is looking at doing it, I know Hughes County is, in the process of doing it as well. Dewey County, just to name a few.
Briefly, I'm still gonna vote against it today. I mean, I'd prefer, just kind of to reiterate what I said last week, I'd prefer either 6 or 8, like, if we could take this map and have, like, you know, how these precincts are split up by the city council districts. I mean, in a perfect world, I wouldn't mind seeing like a northeast, south half, north half, and then so on and so forth with the other 4. Having a total of 8, I do understand though why we're doing it. I would prefer to see it drop to either 6 or 8 rather than 4. So I'm still gonna vote no, but I'll leave it at that. So.
And to answer Rich's question, will this be filed with the Secretary of State upon our approval today?
Yep, we actually already started working with them last week, and getting everything updated in total votes and stuff, so.
Okay.
Yep, they're aware.
That
that it's
answer your
coming.
question on?
Yeah. And then can I steal some of these maps?
You can have those,
Whatever you
yeah,
want.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get them before, so.
Okay, fine.
And to be clear, they do follow the city council boundaries.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably about the best lemonade you've made out of the lemons. So.
On that way, we figured too, it's clearer for the voters, so when it comes to any election, they know exactly where they're at, you know, so.
Yep. All right. Go ahead, Carl.
I agree with Drew that going to 8 would make a lot more sense. That would be 2 for each district. If you have Southwest, you'd have 2. Southeast, you'd have 2. Northeast, you'd have 2. Northwest. I just think it gives way too many numbers to just a few people. When you have areas that have 400 people versus 8,000 people, the change is really healthy. I think the change is a good idea, but we might be changing too much. It's kind of the story of throw the baby out with the bathwater. Pretty close to throwing him out, or her. Could
And
be.
another answer to Rich's question, if we find that this is causing problems or isn't working in the future, whatever we do, we can undo and change again, so.
Yeah, I'd sure like to look at like how this works, assuming it passes today, like it did last week. Let's see how it works this upcoming election, and then maybe revisit it in 2 years and decide whether we want to stick with 4 or go back to 8. So that's the only thing I'd throw out there is in 2 years, you know, I wouldn't mind, if I'm still here, wouldn't mind taking another look at possibly going back to 8, but we can revisit then. So.
For my comment, everything's permanent until it's not.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion, comments? Not, are we ready to make a motion to adopt the resolution?
I think it's good conversation, good consideration, and it'll be interesting to see, and if it needs to be revisited, if we're all still here, or any of us are still here. It's right for conversation, I'll move approval.
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for being here, we appreciate your
Yep.
input.
Thanks, Rich. All right, moving on to the consent calendar. Lynn?
Approval of the general meeting minutes for October 7th.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. Gage, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move. Motion by Dennert, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dinger, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dinger. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We don't have any requests at this time to go into exec unless Ross.
Have one.
Yeah, we have one for.
One, okay, for personnel.
Yes.
Okay.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Dennert. To go into executive session for personnel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
There.
All right.
I really wish we would've done.
The light's back on, we're back in session, out of executive session, no action as a result. Is there anything else that we need to discuss today?
Well, I just do want to point out though that November 11th is the holiday, so we did not have a commission meeting that day.
Do we want to move it to the 12th? Or just not have a meeting?
Either way.
Yeah, how much we have.
Can we wait and decide if we have to talk about?
If you want to think about it and decide next week.
Okay, let's do that, give it a little thought. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second. Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.